Hello, hello, it's Leanne Peters, and I'm here to share with you with this healing time today. So, welcome, extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light family, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So, this is our what I call our personal healing event for August. So we have two Patron healing events for the month, each month. We have the personal healing event, which is this one, and the healing list event. So the personal healing event, this is for those of you who pledge $50 or more throughout August. And I will be connecting with you personally. So I will be tuning in and I will be connecting and bringing some healing energy through for however long we need to for each of you. I have 6 of you on my list today. And then tomorrow I'll be doing the healing list event, which, hi Loretta, hi Dave. I'll be doing the healing list event in 24 hours from now, and that's for those of you who pledge $15 or more for August. So I have usually about 30 people on that list. So that will be happening tomorrow, but today is our personal healing event. So I will be connecting with 6 individuals. So thank you for your support this month. And if you're not one of those people, then I do trust that something shared will support you in some way. So I feel it's no accident that you happen to be here. So just be open to receiving what you need if you're not one of the people I'm connecting with. If you are one of the people I'm connecting with, then I look forward to connecting with you. Just take big, deep breaths when I'm connecting with you. Be as open as you can be. And I trust whatever's loudest in your vibration will be what I'm drawn to. So what's loudest is what I connect with to begin with. And then I'll work through whatever comes up. I don't know what I'm going to be doing or talking about because it's very much in the moment and it's very much intuitive. So all I need to do, it's kind of a bit hard to explain, I think, sometimes, but all I really need to do is just think of the person and that is on my list, and then I guess open myself up. I also imagine that sort of like I am you, if that makes sense. It sort of sounds a bit weird, but I know my energy really well, so I know how I usually feel. So as I'm tuning into someone, I'm also kind of imagining or visualizing that I am them. So then I'm feeling, okay, what's loudest here? What's different from what I usually feel for me? So it sounds a bit strange, but it works. It's worked for me for a long time. So I'll just continue to do it that way. I don't take on other people's stuff. I just tune in at the time, and I certainly don't tune in unless I'm invited to. So I find it very rude and evasive and unethical to tune into random people. So I only tune in when I'm invited to. So I have 6 of you here in my little namaste pot. So I'll be picking you from the pot as we go. I'll be using my healing energy cards. These are my In Creation deck number 2 that aren't out yet, but I'll be using those most likely after I've connected with you, and I'll be starting each connection with a healing energy card. So you might feel energy moving in your body. You might feel waves of emotion coming to the surface. You may feel aches or pains come up in your body. So you may feel the energy moving. So that's really normal. So I recommend you take some big deep breaths and allow yourself to receive what you need. So I think we can get started. Let's see who's first as I pull you out of my lucky hat. First person on my list is this person. And it is David Magness. I think you might be watching. So you're first this time. Let's take a nice big breath and we will see what comes up and what's loudest for you at this time. So the best card for now for you is this. It's card 11 called Goddess, or we could say Gods or Warrior, masculine, feminine, Awakening. So we could even take that out and just call it awakening, which I probably will do that if I come to redo the cards. It says it's time to walk through into the unknown. You are being guided to birth new things, to embrace change, and to welcome the power of now. This is a very powerful card in the deck, and it's showing that you're on the verge of change. So you're standing in the doorway of change and preparing to step into new beginnings, which feels exciting. So let's pop this card down here and pop my deck down, and I'll tune in now. So take a nice big breath. I often connect with my eyes closed because I'm used to doing this over internet radio or phone or what have you. Yeah, it's a bit distracting sometimes to have the eyes open. So I'm closing the eyes just to make sure I have a really strong connection. So nice big breath for me, David, and let's see what's happening for you. Okay, so what I'm seeing is I'm seeing you sitting, and I'm not saying that this is what you're doing now. I'm not tuning into what you're doing in this particular moment. That's not what this is about. This is about connecting for healing. So what I'm seeing is like a side view of you sitting on a chair, and I feel like this is about you sitting into something. And what I'm feeling is that there's something, and I'm being drawn now to your spine, that you're really being encouraged to sit into a situation or a feeling or something that's going on for you that you're struggling to deal with or struggling to come to terms with. There's some type of struggle. It may even be some type of rejection or resistance to something that's happening in your life right now. And you're being encouraged to sit into it, if that makes sense. And I'm being drawn to your spine too. So that really feels to me like a sitting into your body with this. So like an embodiment feeling, we could say. So for an example, if there's something that is causing a bit of strife in you at the moment or a little bit of uncomfortableness, you're being encouraged to sit into it, to embody what this is, because it feels like there's something that's like a barrier at this time, but it feels like something that you're avoiding sitting into, or you're avoiding in some ways embodying or embracing or accepting, we could also add here. So there's something here that you need to sit into. Now, as you sit into it, as you accept it and embody it and allow it to become a part of your very physical life and maybe even a part of your body, so it feels like a very physical thing, so something that you're dealing with physically in your life and probably in your body as well, that you've been encouraged to embrace instead of feel tight or tension or like there's a barrier with this particular thing. So settle into it as best as you can and allow your thoughts, what you're thinking about this, to settle. It feels like there's a heaviness that's coming in around your head, around your mind thoughts with this as well. So you're being encouraged to soften your overthinking around this situation and really settle into your body and embodying and accepting and sitting into this energy. Because there's something that's coming up and you're being encouraged that you need to sit, almost like you need to sit down energetically to move into this new thing. So it's like there's a new thing here, and I see energetically, instead of sitting into it, there's a feeling of standing, and this kind of feels like, it sounds a bit strange, but this is how I'm seeing it and feeling it. It feels like you might be standing and, say, being a little bit on guard of this situation, where you've been encouraged to let your guard down and sit into it. Because as you sit in, it's going to unlock something that you can't access while you're standing up on guard or feeling a bit tense or rejecting what it is that's going on. So if you can sit into it, this is going to unlock something that's going to help you actually move forward. So what I suggest with this kind of cryptic energy and information that's coming through is maybe notice where you're feeling a bit tense or on guard or rejecting something that's going on quite physically for you in your life, and just notice what you're sort of tense about. Try maybe not to overthink it, but just imagine letting your guard down, dropping your body down to, like, you know, sitting into it, so you're not so you're sort of easing into it a little bit so that you can let that door open, because I see that it's like the train wants to leave the station, but it can't leave the station if you're standing up on guard and tense and trying to keep the train doors open because something's not quite the way you want it to be or quite the way you hoped. So be careful you're not trying to keep the doors open on the train and stopping the train from going. You're being encouraged to take your seat so the train can leave the station. I trust that probably makes a bit more sense. And that's what I'm feeling here. So there's something that you're trying to hold open, sit back with it so that train can leave the station, because the train wants to go to new places. The train wants to take you to new depths and new heights in your life. And you need to be on board and you need to be in your seat, we could say, so that that train can go to its kind of destined seat. And I see this train, and this train is taking off ahead and slightly to the right, and it's going fast. So it's like a speed bullet train or something, and it's moving very fast and very straight, going exactly where it needs to go. So there's this feeling of going straight from point A, which is where you are now, to point B in your life. And there's a straight path to get there. So all you need to do really is get out of the way mentally and sort of physically as well. Get in your seat and trust that this train will take you exactly where you need to be. So there's something new that's coming up for you on your life's path, which is what this train is. It's representing your path and a very swift movement forward. Let's grab a healing energy card number 2 to see what that wants to add here. So what we need to add is this here. Card 82, called Rejuvenation. And it says physical, mental, and emotional rest. Interesting. And you know what this feels like? It feels like this lady here, she's sitting on a carpet, and this feels like a river. And it feels like this river is moving. Now, this is very similar to the feeling of this train, and you're sitting in position wherever that needs to be. In this case, she's sitting on this carpet or whatever, and trusting the movement of this river. So it's like she's floating as the river guides her where she needs to be. She is at rest. She has her eyes closed here. So she's at mental rest, just trusting in the unfolding. In the background here, we have a hawk. I think that's a hawk there, and a stag. So this is showing that you're supported by the outside world, we could say, your spiritual team, as you let yourself find that rest, find your seat, and move with the movement of this river, this train, your path at this time. Things may pick up speed very quickly for you in the coming days and weeks, David. It feels like you're on the verge of something moving very fast. So I trust that helps. And it's nice getting that confirmation from that card. So sit into it and see how that feels for you. So thank you so much. Thanks for your support and for allowing me to connect with you today. Okay, let's continue. So next in my little namaste pots is this person. It's KantiDevi Wedad. Take a nice big breath. And we'll see what comes up for you. What I'm feeling already is I'm just starting to tune in. A part of the reason why I pick cards at the beginning too is it's my kind of way of tuning into, or my moments of making that connection. So often I will feel things coming up as I'm doing the cards, and what I'm feeling straight away is something going on in your solar plexus chakra, which is the area just above your navel, and that's your power center. So I'm not sure what that is yet, but there is definitely something moving in there. We have this card for you, KantiDevi. It's card 25, called Stability. It says Heart of the Homeland. Ancestors, bringing the history into the present. So learning from the past, basically. Grounding, anchoring connections, base chakra, looking within to access beyond, and physical world. So stability coming in. Okay, so I'm getting drawn straight down to your solar plexus chakra now, and it feels fragile. I feel like I want to tend to it very gently, your solar plexus. So it feels a bit like a very thin egg, I guess we could say, like a bird's egg. And this eggshell feels very fragile and maybe a little weak too in the solar plexus chakra. So the shell here feels fragile and weak and delicate. It feels like just a little bump and it could pierce this egg and the contents would come spewing out. So there feels to be a fragile nature to your power and your personal power at this time, and your strength and your courage. So I'm just kind of holding my hands here at your solar plexus chakra in this kind of shape, like I'm holding, it's like a big ostrich egg, but it feels very, very fragile. But is it actually as fragile as we think? Because I know eggs can be reasonably fragile. If we drop it on the ground, it's going to break. But they are reasonably tough. And I feel like in some ways there's this feeling that you're fragile, that your strength is perhaps lost, or you're feeling a bit not very courageous at this time, and your strength is just feeling quite low. But I'm feeling that there's something not quite right about that. And it feels like actually this egg, as I connect with your solar plexus chakra, is stronger than you think. I feel like this egg is actually quite strong and quite resilient. Now, as I say these things, there is something moving, there's something changing with this. So instead of feeling fragile and needing to handle this very delicately and carefully because it might break and explode itself any second, there is a sense of strength that's starting to grow, and it kind of feels like it's coming through your back, like a tree sort of feeling here, like the strength of a tree rather than the fragility of an egg. So even though the egg is quite strong to a degree, it's not maybe as strong as we might see, say, a tree, like a tree trunk, for example. And I feel in some ways that this egg, this fragility of the egg in your power center, is actually morphing now into this tree. And I feel your whole body becoming this, especially your torso. So from your hips all the way to your shoulders feels like it's becoming like a tree trunk. And it's becoming stronger, and you can probably feel this in just in the way I'm using my words and the way the words are coming out. There is a strength that's coming in, that's transforming here, that's changing. So be careful that you're not thinking that you're more fragile or weak or subdued or suppressed than you actually are, because there's a feeling here that actually you are stronger and more resilient than you think. And if you can take a few moments to reflect on all you've been through and all that you've had to deal with, especially in recent months, you might see actually how strong you are. So there may be times, hi Martin, there may be, and Susie, there may be times when you're feeling quite vulnerable, quite afraid, and quite powerless. But there is this feeling here that actually underneath you are really, really strong. So I see the roots of this tree trunk. So the tree trunk that goes from your hips to your shoulders, strong. And I feel from your hips and coming down your legs are these tree roots. So your legs are turning into tree roots that are now starting to really deeply embed into the ground, to ground your strength, basically, to help you feel more sure and stable in yourself. Because when you're feeling powerless or fragile, you're going to feel unstable, you're going to feel very ungrounded. So bringing or extending or almost growing these roots down into the ground to help strengthen you physically, emotionally, and mentally. And then coming up from your shoulders are the branches. So your head included in a branch. So the branches are coming up from the shoulders, and actually your arms are included. And these branches are stretching up above you, stretching into the sky, but stretching into spirit. And these are really helping strengthen your connections, to help you feel that you belong in a place where you might not be particularly content or feeling particularly stable, or where you don't really want to be. So let your connection strengthen, let your stability strengthen, let your body strengthen. And there's going to be times where you're going to feel weaker or more vulnerable than usual. But you know, like I've been saying for a long time, it takes a lot of strength to actually admit to ourselves that we are feeling vulnerable. So let yourself feel vulnerable when you feel it, but be careful that you're not thinking that you are so fragile and vulnerable and small and insignificant and powerless, because that is not true. So feel the vulnerability, let it help you heal, let it help you feel and move where you need to go, but don't let it take or drain or suck out your power and your strength that you have and that you need right now. Let's grab a healing energy card, see what that number 2 deck, see what that wants to add here. And the best card to add for you, KantiDevi, is this. It's this. Card 75, New Beginnings. There is something really bright and exciting about this card. And it says, find the courage to walk forward. So find the courage, find the strength to walk forward, to keep going, and to allow new beginnings into your life. So when I drew this card, I imagined all this energy here at the back was the old, like steam rising, the old being released from the back of the body. And as she stepped forward, this was the new calling her forward. There is something strong about this too, and it's interesting, it shows this exact area I talked about, from the shoulders to the hips. And there is something strong, almost like a tree trunk, with this particular illustration. So keep letting the old insecurities go and those feelings of powerlessness go, and allow yourself to embody your courage, to find your courage to keep going, to keep walking forward, because there are new beginnings that are gestating for you now. So great confirmation there, and I trust this resonates with you, KantiDevi. Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. Thanks for allowing me to connect with you. Namaste. Okay, let's continue. So I have 4 more people on my healing list today. If you want to be part of this healing event next month, then please have a look at my Patreon page. You can find it in the details for this video on Patreon. And let me know if you've got questions. I can't find anything, but the next person is Annick Beal. Annick, take a nice big breath. Oops, I breathed away your name. Okay, let's see. Okay, the best card for you in this moment, Annick, is this card here. The Inner Child, card 53. It says, release your old childhood wounds. Be wary of hiding how you feel and let your feelings be heard. Support of the child. So this could be physical children, could be your actual children. It could be support of your inner child. It says, allow your inner child to come out and play. Healing, explore, and truth. So this is a big one about coming out of hiding and bringing your inner child, those inner childlike qualities, out into your world. And you know, there's so many varying degrees that we can take that in regards to how far are we going to take it out into the world. It used to feel very daunting to me to be working through my own personal self-healing and recognized that I had been, say, doing things privately or in hiding because I was scared of what other people might think or whatever was associated with that. And it used to be a very daunting thought for me to go from private space, and it's quite fine to do things in private. It's whether we are hiding ourselves or holding back or scared of moving out. That's where it might be a problem, but it's fine to do things in private. But to go from a private space of, say, hiding or holding back into the public, into the world, bring it out into the world, it's such a big difference from going to isolation, privacy into, okay, let's present this out in a big way. And it doesn't have to be that way. So I feel whatever it is that you're being encouraged to bring out of hiding, be careful or ensure that you are allowing yourself to bring it out at the level that you're ready to bring it out at. Sometimes it's just about saying it to someone that can be part of bringing that inner energy out. It might be talking or having a conversation with someone that we feel safe with, where we can express ourselves and get that inner energy that we've kept bottled up, getting it out. It might be about if we've been creating behind closed doors or dealing with things very privately and we feel like we're not really letting ourselves be ourselves because we're hiding this part of who we are, then it might be about sharing what we're creating with people that we trust. It might be telling someone who we feel safe with what is on our mind. So there's all various degrees. Be careful you're not thinking that you have to, take it out into the big wide world, because it doesn't have to be that way. So as I tune into your energy, Annick, I feel like there is something sort of trapped, we could say, inside, and it feels like it's sitting here in your heart, like your heart is a safe. So a safe that needs a combination to open. It feels sturdy and it could survive any type of explosion. It feels like foolproof, we could say, that there's nothing that could get in the walls of this safe unless you had the combination. So there is a safe here, I feel, here at your heart, where you keep things very private and maybe hidden away or locked away inside yourself. And I feel like there is a time that you're moving into now where this energy is actually the safe, and its contents are holding you back or weighing you down. So it's feeling very heavy, like a burden that you're carrying here in your heart. And you're being encouraged to know that you are safe, to open this combination, to do the combination, open the door and let the contents of this safe out. And as I'm talking about that, it feels like, hi Michelle, it feels like a cage, like a bird cage, and you having the key or finding the key to let those inner birds fly free now. So whatever you've been dealing with privately and that you've been bottling up or keeping to yourself, it might be really time to think about how you can get this inner energy out. So it might be a matter of writing down how you feel or what you've got bottled up inside. It may be about spending some time with someone you feel safe to share with and letting that out in that way. But it feels like this energy wants to come out. It feels like it's pushing down on your solar plexus chakra, and it's starting to dominate your power. So what I mean by that is like dominate your attention. So where you're spending, where your attention is being placed, it feels like the contents of this safe are becoming so heavy that they're pushing down on your solar plexus chakra and are in some ways taking your power or claiming a lot of your attention. So I see, as I'm talking about this, I'm seeing that the combination, which happens to be, well, I know what the combination is. So let's open it now and get rid of this safe. So the combination is 4 ones. So 1111 is the combination. And I feel this big dial here where we just turn from 1 and then do a full rotation back to 1, full rotation back to 1, full rotation the other way to 1. And this door opens, and inside there is waterlogged papers. So this watery energy tells me there's a lot of emotion here, and the papers feel like something kind of official or something serious for you, something, it might be some type of contract, some type of agreement, some type of vow that you made perhaps, but it's waterlogged and it's blackened. It reminds me of in the Titanic when they opened up the safe and it was and the drawings were all waterlogged and the whole thing was just full of water. That's how it feels. So getting these water sodden pieces of paper out and drawing and bring them down to the ground, scooping them out to the ground and all this water, and then gently pulling out this safe from that cavity of your heart, this safe, and dropping it to the ground. You can still keep a space of yourself private and inward, if you like, an inner sacred space, but when it becomes so solid and bulletproof and so hidden and secret and private and protected by kind of codes and things, then it's probably unhealthy. So removing all of the contents and the safe itself out. This is bringing up a little bit of resistance, but just moving through that and allowing the safe and its contents to just return to the earth, where it just returns back to energy, back to love. And now you've got this open space now, which is more like a cave that's in your heart, a safe cave. It feels like there's a little warm fire that's starting to burn here at the front of your cave, and it feels open and it feels welcoming. It feels like a safe place for you to go to when you need to go there, but not a place where you have to keep things secret or private or hidden from yourself or from others. So let's add another card here, see what this wants to add, Annick. Okay, so we'll add this card here. It says Untangling, card 60. It says finally sorting out the energetic knots. So this is another angle of looking at what I was talking about, and this burden sort of energy that I felt that was being held in the heart that we've started to shift. So this is highlighting a tangled up sort of feeling in there as well, that you've been encouraged to untangle or find a way to clear up in some ways for your own peace of mind. So I feel like we've started the ball rolling by clearing that energy out, and now it might be a matter of you looking at the finer details but also not overthinking it. So just feeling your way through and allowing that healing energy to come into your heart. So thank you so much, Annick. I trust this resonates, and thank you so much for your support. Okay, let's continue. We have 2 more people. Who's going to be next? It's this person. It's Susan. Oh, actually, I've still got 3, I think. Sorry. Yes, 3. Susan Sonsteng. Susan, take a nice big breath, and we will see what comes up for you. Okay, so the best healing energy card for you for now is card 3, Expansion. It says Star and Galactic Connections. Reconnect with your star home. Intergalactic travel to heal, expand your perceptions, and gateway to other dimensions. So this is very otherworldly. It's very much about your connections with your star home. And why do I get this feeling that we've talked about this before? Have you had this card before? I don't remember our previous connections because I do these connections in the moment, but there's something very familiar. I feel like we've talked about this stuff before, so I'm not sure. But this is very much about expansion, and it's very otherworldly, very star sort of, and star home sort of connecting. So Let's tune in, Susan, and see what is coming up. Okay, so I'm being drawn to your shoulders, and I feel like your shoulders, there's this energy that's pulling on them on the horizontal. So it's almost like a little handle here, a little handle here, and someone, we could say, people, or there's something that's pulling this way and pulling that way, and pulling your shoulders, like stretching them on the horizontal, which is really weird. I don't know that I've ever felt something like that before. So let's just see what is happening here. So you're being stretched through this area. So through the throat, there's energy moving here in the throat. It almost feels like your whole throat here is stretching. Your shoulders are stretching, but it's coming in the source here is your throat. So this is a way of pulling and widening, we could say, expanding your throat chakra. So your throat chakra is your center for communication, expression, and truth, and feeling safe to speak your truth and be who you are. And I feel like this has been stretched, this has been opened, this has been expanded, and I get this feeling of dough. I get this feeling of dough here, like there's dough here all across your shoulders, and it sort of started here as a dough ball in your throat, and it's being pulled, and you know how dough kind of stretches when it's being pulled, and that's what I'm feeling all through here, but especially here in the throat. So there's this feeling of really stretching and allowing yourself to move to new levels, especially in regards to your truth and who you are. So your truth reality is also what I want to talk about. So it feels like moving to new levels in regards to your reality and what your truth is, because it feels like your truth determines your reality. So as you move further into your truth and understanding more about who you are, it breaks down the illusion of who you thought you were, or who you maybe assumed that you were, and breaks that stuff down, which allows you more space, or we could say more energy, to align further with your truth. So it feels like your truth reality is becoming stronger, and it feels like your kind of illusion reality is becoming weaker. So even though the illusion energy sort of feels a bit untrue, we could say, it feels very real for us. So it certainly feels true until we realize that it isn't. So there's a reality shift, I feel, that's taking place within you, Susan, and especially it's happening right now in your throat chakra. There's energy also too moving very deep in your sacral chakra, which is just below your navel, and this is your center for emotional, sexual, and creative energies. So there's something moving here, and it also feels like this is stretching, and in fact it's that whole area. So there's a dough kind of stretching feeling happening with your hips and that whole area, your sacral chakra. So I've got dough being pulled out into a long French roll, and dough being pulled out at your hips into this long sort of French roll sort of thing too, and stretching and pulling and opening through your sacral chakra. So a key here in your new truth reality that you're establishing now and that you're becoming more familiar with is how you feel and what's going on really deep down in your womb and deep down in your emotional ocean, we could say. So this is very much key to your truth as well. So this feels like it's expanding and stretching you in really quite beautiful ways. So allow the old stuff, like what I'm feeling is like old yeast and the old breads and the old doughs, allow that stuff to pull out and away, and allow the new fresh kind of yeasty doughy energy, allow that to become part of your new reality. So your old reality is stretching away and your new reality is stretching and forming into place. Let's see what these other cards want to add here. It's so weird because the energy feels so different in so many ways. So you know, sometimes it's a bit, you know, like when I connected with you, David, and that sitting kind of energy, and then this sort of train and kind of trying to explain or give an example of the energy that I'm feeling in that sort of way is very different to something like a doughy energy. And you know, it's always so different that, you know, it might sound weird to say, oh, doe, what is she talking about? But I'm really sensitive to energy, and, you know, if I could draw what I'm feeling, then I could draw it in a way that, you know, would be kind of doughy or be more solid, like a train sort of structure. But I'm really sensitive to the different sort of feelings, that sort of tactile nature of the energy. So it's kind of strange. I don't know if I've ever sort of felt the energy like dough before, but that's the best way I can describe what I'm feeling. Your card, Susan, is this. It's card 110. This is the last card in the deck. And something shifted. It says coming full circle, the end of an era. So this is the end of an era of your old reality, we could say, as things have stretched and morphed and changed and transformed into this new reality that you've been creating for yourself for several months, maybe even several years. So things, your old ways are moving away. They are stretching out in a way, they're being removed. And you're coming now full circle. So it's not really an ending, like a start line and a finish line. It's more of a continuation of the path, like moving up a path of a spiral. So we might, you know, like if it was a circle, for example, we might have, you know, like a start, and then that start represents the end. And then we start and end, and we start and end. But with the spiral, it's like we just continue the journey. That it's not really a beginning or an ending. It just continues to evolve and grow, like we're traveling a spiral path that just continues to expand and grow right up to, you know, it's really expanding into sort of that starry energy that connects with this card from before. So I feel like this is confirming that you are coming full circle. Now in this drawing here, we have a female figure and a male figure. And she is sending out, she doesn't see him. She's sending out this message on this dove. And the message says, love, 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 love. She's sending out a message of love. And this message of love comes, when I was drawing this, I could feel it come like in a circle or in a spiral back to this male figure. So keep sending out your love, even if you don't feel, that union yet, or that inclusion yet, or you're not seeing the reality yet of what you're putting out there. Keep putting it out there, because you can trust on some level it's reaching where it needs to go. You are ending this era and beginning or transitioning into a new one, a new reality for yourself. So I trust that makes sense for you, Susan, and thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you today. Namaste. Okay, let's grab a drink. How are you doing? Are you feeling good? Is any of this resonating with you? Oh, hi Susan, and thank you. Okay, next person is Carol White. Carol, please take a nice big breath. And we'll see what comes up for you. Okay, Carol, your card is this, card 27, called Freedom. And it says, let your worries and negative thoughts go. Don't allow them to take away your power. Get in charge of your mind thoughts and focus on clarity. So this is a very mental card, where it talks a lot about being careful that you're not giving your power away, the power in your body, we could say, away to your negative thinking or your worries or your stresses about things, because those negative thoughts get very hungry for energy. So they drain the energy out of our body to feed themselves, and they keep doing that, and they will unground us, and we're then giving our power away to those negative thoughts. So this is about returning your power back to your body. And interesting. Let's see. I've got a parcel coming today, and I think I see the delivery guy, but we'll see. I might have to open the door, maybe, but hopefully not. I don't really want to start. I think he's driven away down the street a bit. So, okay, Carol, let's tune in and see what's going on for you. So you've been handed a basket. I don't know why at this time, but that's what I'm seeing. So I have to flow with that or roll with that because that will lead where we need to go. And I don't know where it's going to lead, but I have to trust it. So I'm seeing this really big basket, like it's huge. It's like the size of what? It's like it would sit on a car seat. So a nice, really nice, full, rounded, quite dark, caned basket. Yeah, it has a handle like this. It's a nice solid basket, a nice solid handmade basket. And you're being handed this. So it's been handed to you, someone's holding it on the basket and is handing the basket to you for you to take the handle. I get a sense that there's something in the basket that's of significance, but I don't know what it is at this point. It feels kind of unknown in there, a bit like a void or a bit like space, you know, like Mary Poppins carpet bag, you know, what's in there, that sort of feeling, but I can't sense anything yet. So you've been handed this basket and you grasp it firmly, confidently and gratefully. So you've been handed this gift, and this gift you put down at the ground right at your feet. Whoever or whatever's given this to you is not here. It's just you now and this basket, and it's at your feet. There's energy moving in your feet, so there's something very grounding about whatever this basket is or what it represents or what its contents are. There's a lot of grounding energy coming in. Your feet are buzzing with energy, and I can feel a lot of kind of almost like, I don't want this to sound creepy, but almost like in tentacles coming out from the soles of your feet, the small part of your foot. These little red tentacles, they're like little red worms, I guess we could say, but that's just how I'm feeling the energy. So it's very alive energy, we could say, very red, very energizing, multiple. There's like a dozen coming out of each foot. So right from the small of the foot, like a dozen tentacles or shoelaces, if that's a better description, but they're very active. So they're moving down into the ground to really plant you into the ground strongly. And maybe to, in some ways, prepare you for what's in the basket. So there's grounding, but also a preparation that's coming in. And in this basket, on the surface now, I'm seeing just like this platter of cheeses. So this platter of cheeses and biscuits and yummy things that feels nice. But I also feel this is sitting on the surface. I feel like there's a lot, or there's something else underneath. So we just move off the board, like the cheese board, off the basket. And underneath in here is this big dark void. So it's like a hole, we could say, a hole in the ground, but large, a large hole in the ground. And I see you now somehow shrunken in size, and you're climbing over the edge of the basket and climbing down into the basket itself. The energy's getting very cold, so this tells me the energy's rising up. So we needed to ground so that we could take this energy higher. Even though we're going down, we're going in, there is a coolness now, which is showing that we're actually the energy's actually getting higher. So crawling down inside this basket like you're going down a ladder down the side of this basket, and continuing going down until you get to the ground. And the ground is solid, it's like concrete or something, or rock floor. And it seems to be like you're out on a landscape now, and from what I've seen of pictures, it looks like Arizona or something. So that sort of outback, dusty, kind of rocky, deserty perhaps sort of place, very sandy sort of looking place as well, and hot. It feels really hot down here now. So there's a path like a track, It's not a road, it's not a thick path, it's not a formed anything, it's just like a goat track. And you're following this goat track now from where you landed, down from the side of this basket, and you're following this goat track, and it's weaving around the rocks and the canyons and goes down deep into one of the canyons, right down deep. And you're climbing down even further into this canyon. And down here, there's something for you to find. And I feel like there's something that you're, I don't know if you're looking for it, but there's something I feel like you're going to find in the coming weeks, maybe even in the coming months. I keep getting 3, so the next 3 weeks, the next 3 months, there's something that you're going to find or discover. And I feel like you're going to stumble across it. Because down here, I feel like we've now stumbled across like an old, it looks like old dinosaur bones. So something old, something ancient, something that is really important for you to access, to discover, and to learn, which is going to help you, I feel, moving forward. Hello. So I guess with this, you're being encouraged to kind of be open to something being revealed in the next few weeks, the next few months, that's going to spark something in you, like an interest or a curiosity or some inspiration or something. And it's about really dropping in deep and going down the goat track somehow. So it will be off-road, off-road from your normal everyday road that you walk. And I'm not talking about the road that you drive to work or anything like this. Or the road to your house or anything like that. It's not an actual road. It's something that's unfamiliar. So, you have your certain paths that you go, that you walk, that you take to get to certain places that you like to go. These are sort of kind of energetically formed places because they are known to you. This goat track that I'm feeling feels like it's going off road, off track, off your usual path. It might be somewhere nearby, it may be somewhere completely different, but it will be somewhere that's off your normal path. And you're being encouraged to take it. So I don't know if this is literal or if it's energetic, or it could be both. So see how you go. Let's grab an extra card here to add to this carol. And whatever this is that you're going to discover, it might not be a physical thing, like dinosaur bones, for example. This is just what it represented. It could be something like a new discovery, a new learning, a new realization as well, a new understanding about yourself or your life, where something just kind of falls into place, or you kind of get it, or you see something from a new angle. So be open to that sort of thing too. But you don't need to go looking for it, because it is just going to sort of happen as you go off your normal path, off your normal track. Follow the goat track. Okay, or the zebra track probably in your case. Okay, we have this here. Now this is interesting. Before I even read what it says here, this, and without the sharpness of the crystals here, this is very much how I saw like the top of your basket. Although it was more, maybe a bit brownier than this red colour, but it had that sort of void inside, that circular basket with the void inside, and you climbing down. And climbing down really into the earth. So I can already relate to what I've been feeling and this particular illustration. Now, this card says, it's card 65, it says isolating the problem and changing the habit. So this is interesting, isolating the problem. So this is like, from this perspective now with this card, this is like recognizing that there is a problem area in your life and looking at how you can isolate that and change it or release it in some way, or remove yourself from it if possible. And also looking at what habits that you've gotten into. Now, what I'm feeling with those particular words in regards to what I was sensing is be careful that you're not under the habit of taking the same route all the time. Now, this could be physical, like I say, but it could be energetic. So it might be the same route that you always take to meditate, for example. It might be the same position that you're always in when you meditate, for an example. It may be the same thing that you do just out of habit without really thinking about it because it's the way that you found to work. There might be a way, or there might be a need to step out of that habit or step out of your comfort zone a little bit in one of those things for now. So see how you go. And I found that actually with meditation, the meditation side, I remember when I was in a meditation class, and I used to go every week, and I'd always love to lay down. Oh no, I'd always love to sit on the couch at this particular meditation place. And every time I'd sit down, I'd be comfortable in my body, I'd go on the meditation, have this sort of experience. And that was great. And then this one time, the meditation facilitator, she said, whatever position you usually take to meditate, do the opposite. So if you usually lay down, please sit up. If you usually sit up, please lay down. And so I did the opposite, and I was frustrated and getting crabby in this meditation. I mean, this was before I started Temple of Balance, so it was 20 odd years ago. Actually, it was about 20 years ago. And so I laid down trying to meditate, and I couldn't follow it, and the drum was distracting me, and I was just getting really frustrated. And then I thought, right, let's just do it a bit different. So I did a little bit of a different meditation. I just went in my own bit of a visualization, and actually ended up meeting one of my spiritual surgeons, which I could sense I was getting a new one, but I hadn't connected with him yet. And he came in during that meditation, which if I'd stayed in my comfortable sitting arrangement that I was always comfortable with, there is a high chance I wouldn't have connected with him. It was because I was put out of my habit, out of my comfort zone in just that simple way that actually prompted a different experience. So it could be something as simple as that for you, Carol. So see how you go, and thank you so much for your support and allowing me to connect with you today. Okay, that means we have one person left. Is that one person watching right now, live? I'm not sure, I haven't seen you here, but lucky last is Anne-Marie Douglas. So Anne-Marie, I'm just going to have a drink of water and then we'll get started. Okay, Anne-Marie, take a nice big breath and let's see what comes up for you today. Okay, we have this card 2 called Soul Chakras, and it says balance, ground, anchor the ideas, healing and changes into your life and body. So bringing balance into your body and life, bringing grounding into your body and life, bringing the healing into your body and life, bringing changes into your body and life. That's what that sentence basically is talking about. It says having your feet planted in the physical world, getting to the root or the source of the situation or problem. But ultimately this card is about grounding, but it's also about balance. So when I think of balance with this card, I think of our feet on the ground and us standing and us evenly distributing the weight of our body on both feet or both legs. So that's how I feel the balance with this particular card. It's about that even distribution of weight in our body. And for some, and in some cases, that's difficult, especially if we're dealing with injury or pain or something that's going on for our body where we're kind of favouring one side because we've got a sore knee or we've got a sore foot or we've got a sore hip or something like this, and we have to kind of compensate on the other side. That can tend to have balance issues, but we have to do what we need to do to help and support our body. So if possible, or see how this relates for you, Anne-Marie, is how evenly can you distribute the weight of your body on both feet at this time. So take a nice big breath for me. And let's see, and I feel like there's been like a wallop of energy that's coming in here over the side, the right side of your head. And it feels like it's pushing your whole body to the left, and it feels quite sharp. Actually, it's not really sharp, it's strong, but it actually feels more like a dull ache over this whole right side of the head. And it might look like, hopefully you can see I'm pointing to the right. I think YouTube doesn't flick the videos like Facebook. So it feels like it's pushing, and it feels like it's pushing all of your whole body energetically here to the left. So there is an imbalance feeling. I can feel it coming down to the right side here of the neck, and there is just this feeling here of trying to be pushed over. And it feels like your hips are trying to compensate, your legs are also trying to compensate, and there's this massively out of balance feeling here. Because this energy is hitting here on around the head, it feels like a strong mental energy that's kind of pushing in, almost like a force that's coming in, that's very mental. So it probably affects you quite mentally, you know, like feeling fear or feeling worried or stressed or struggling to get in control of your negative thinking, that sort of thing. So it's pushing in here as quite the force, and it is a force. It's knocking everything out. There's a feeling here of your breath being taken away as well. So energetically here, there's stuff that's happening in the heart. And in fact, this type of out of balance energy is going to affect every area of your body. And in fact, everything feels really tight and tense, almost like it's all being squeezed inside you, like all of your organs all being squeezed up. So it's actually really hard to breathe, and it's really hard to talk, and it feels really uncomfortable. So let's see what we can do about this, because we need to do something about it. Okay, so the first thing I'm feeling is this energy coming up from above this force. So we've got this force coming in here. It's a bit like, if I could describe it as energy, it would probably be like a bolt of lightning that is like in the shape of a comet. So maybe like a comet energy. In fact, yeah, like a comet energy, like you've been hit with hot rock or something here at the side that's coming also down through your neck and shoulder. So above that energy, there is a softer energy that's coming down that feels a bit more like wisps of magenta and soft pink. Wisps of light are coming down and actually just starting to wash over this force that's pushing through this right side. So it's coming down, washing over and helping wash this energy away with love and softness. So something forceful and strong and harsh about this and tense, this soft energy wants to come in and just help kind of wash it away. So just letting it sort of wash away and start to soften this whole area. Now, as this is softening, I'm already feeling this ability to sort of come up into center position a little bit easier. Even though I still feel like I'm tilted, it's not as strong as before. So just allowing that to continue to wash over. Now, as it washes over and is relaxing this energy, so it feels less forceful, the force, it's like the gas pedal has been taken back a bit. So instead of the accelerator being on full speed and this force coming in really strongly with that acceleration, it feels like the foot pedal, the acceleration pedal, has been backed off, and this is just starting to soften and move away just a little bit. So as it does this, this energy continues, but it's also starting now to wash down over the rest of your body. So it's coming down too over your crown and flushing down through your whole body, like you're in sort of a waterfall of soft pink sort of wispy energy. So it feels very soft, like a really soft shower of rain, we could say, but pink and wispy. And it's washing down over your head, over your shoulders, and down through your heart, and all those kind of squeezed sort of tense areas in your trunk of your body, just relaxing those and easing that energy through. So it's just continuing to come down, just soft, gentle, just gently, gently. There's no rush here, is the feeling. So just letting it do its thing. So as it's continuing to do its thing, there's this feeling of coming back into center. So I can feel already, just as I'm connecting with you, that your head has now come back into center, your shoulders are square on, your hips are becoming square on, and that even distribution of weight in your body that is so important over your feet, unless you're dealing with some type of injury or ailment that counters that, I suppose. There is this feeling of balance that's returning back into your body. Now this ring of white light is appearing here around your hairline. So around your hairline, the top of your ears, and around the base of your skull is this ring of white light, and it's showering over you now, adding white light to this soft, wispy pink energy that's also coming through. So this is also helping clear and flush your energy in a really gentle way. It feels like this needs to be gentle to balance or counteract that harshness and our force of that energy that I talked about before. So this is really important, to be soft to balance the stress, if you like, or soft to balance that harsh, tense energy. So just letting that continue to flush through. So we've got the pink inside, the white that's a little bit crisper in energy is coming down over you, almost like a veil that's being put over you, but it's moving. So it's running energy, we could say. It's running down and clearing your arms, especially the tops and the outside of your arms. And I see it coming down from your fingertips. It's collecting, this white energy is like magnetic, and it's collecting also some old energy that you've been storing, but also current energy, so current stresses and negativity as well, or worries, is also being drawn out with this white light, just like that. It's been drawn out by a magnet. And this is all just showering down over the earth, where it just returns back to love, back to energy. There's energy, that pink wispy energy is also moving into your lower back and helping clear old emotional wounds that you've been carrying in your lower back and your tailbone about your security and your physical life, your physical body that you're struggling to deal with. So that's washing out through the base of your spine and also your lower back. So flushing out, almost like it's digging in there a little bit to clear that energy out. And now clearing out digging into your hips and just helping you feel more secure in yourself, secure in your life, and also through that security and stability, giving you the motivation, we could say, or the enthusiasm for action or movement in your life. And really, actually, now I'm looking at this card, there's also that feeling with this as well, that there is a strong sense of movement now. So instead of feeling like you have to be fixed and stationary under this force of energy that's knocking you out of balance, there's this feeling that when gentleness comes in and when you give yourself time, maybe, for example, you might want to return back to this connection, Anne-Marie, throughout the months to come if you're feeling tense and tight, and just as a reminder to balance that or remove that now with some softness and gentleness. And that actually that will help give you the movement that you need. You don't have to be running marathons, but just your energy levels to help you get through your day and help you do some things that you enjoy or that you can find joy in. So right now I'm feeling the energy just continuing to flush through. So I'm just going to allow that to continue till it doesn't need to any longer. So it might continue for a few hours. And there is a sense of coming back into alignment, so back into center, back into balance. And this gentleness has been really important. So let's now grab a card here to see what this wants to add, Anne-Marie. And we will go with this here. It's card 71. And it says releasing expectations and trusting in the flowing movement. Now, when I think of expectations, they do feel a little strong, maybe forceful, and a little bit, I don't like expectations. I really try my best and have for a couple of decades not to hold expectations, because I do find they block the flow of energy. There is something very rock-like in feeling to me about an expectation, and if at any time I come out of a situation feeling disappointed, then I know that maybe without me even realizing it, I had an expectation, because expectations not only can block the flow of energy, but I also feel that they can lead to disappointment. I'm not saying that everything we expect is going to lead to disappointment, but I do find that if I personally feel disappointed about something, and when I stop and examine that, I most of the time realize or see that actually I had unconscious expectations about that person or about that situation that didn't live up to those expectations. So then I was left feeling disappointed. So there is something quite strong and heavy about that energy of expectations compared to trusting in your flowing moments and the movement of flow for you. So when I think about flow, I think about something a little bit more gentle and almost like that, and it feels more watery. It feels like it almost is the complete opposite of a big boulder or a big rock of expectation. Would be this flowing, gentle movement of flow. So I can feel from this card the connection with what I was bringing through for you, Anne-Marie. So maybe keep in mind where you're holding expectations, maybe pressure that you're putting on yourself or on others or your life, and think about how you can potentially release that heavy, harsh, forceful energy and allow that gentleness to come in. I feel like it may be really helpful for you, especially over the next few weeks, to really think about how you can embody more gentleness and see if that helps you feel better throughout your days by maybe reminding yourself to be gentle with yourself, to approach things in a gentle way, especially if you notice yourself getting tense, and see if that helps you find a little bit more ease in your day-to-day movements. So thank you so much, Anne-Marie. It's been lovely connecting with you, and I trust this resonates. Thank you so much. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, and thanks so much to everyone who's watched and connected in some way. I trust you've found something helpful and supportive during this time we've spent together today. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to contact me through my website at templeofbalance.com.au. I will be back tomorrow around the same time in the same place, just a different day, for our healing list event. Thank you. Our healing list event tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're going to do. I'll see what the weather's doing for one, and we'll go with the flow of that. So I might see you then. So take care of yourself and have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.